we officially have the strangest reason for pulling out of a fight in UFC history. Now, well-known troublemaker, lawbreaker, UFC fighter Sedriques Dumas is out of his fight this weekend at UFC 317 against Jackson McVeigh due to his ankle monitor. Okay, he was arrested a couple months ago. He recently got out, was immediately booked a fight, which is pretty crazy, and now he has to pull out. Here we have Octagon Update saying, I'm told that the reason Sedriques Dumas had to pull out was that the earliest he could get the ankle monitor off and in front of a judge would be by Thursday, which would be too late. Keep in mind, he lives in Florida, so the soonest he could get in front of a judge who might allow him to go would be Thursday, and the fight's on Saturday, weigh-ins Friday morning. So he obviously could not be on this card. The UFC can't run that much of a risk with a fight on the card. They're just, all right, he's off. A UFC debutant is going to be in there in Sedriques Dumas' place. Very, very crazy way to pull out. Now this says, as I reported yesterday, Sedriques Dumas' attorney filed a motion Monday to modify bond, which included GPS monitoring and travel restrictions. Now visible court docs show that the motion was to temporarily lift those restrictions for work travel purposes. Motion hearing set for 7/8, which is in like 2 weeks. So it's going to be way too late for him to fight at UFC 317. And they booked his opponent against somebody else. Why exactly was he arrested? There was domestic violence charges. There was possession of a firearm charge, possession of a controlled substance. But the biggest story in that by far is that while trying to hide from the police, he was in a dog crate. Now, this is him getting interviewed on Perry Punch. I have gone at Jacob Castro, the owner of Perry Punch, pretty hard before due to him just glazing this total piece of shit fighter for clicks. And he doesn't even really get that many views. I mean, for fuck's sake, 75,000 subs and this shit's got 49 views in 2 weeks. I mean, so really just attaching yourself to some of the worst people possible for 49 views. Hate to say it, but Jacob Castro of Perry Punch asked SD Dumas about the dog crate situation. This is what he had to say.
It's very fruitful.
That part.
Yeah.
That part, bro.
Can I ask you just one other thing about the arrest? Because it's like the biggest headline is this dog crate thing. You want to bring any clarity to that, or is that kind of what happened?
Oh, yeah, nigga, I was hiding in a dog crate. It was not about to get me, but I told nigga, look, I'm sorry. When they say the police was looking for you, nigga, I'm sorry. Like, I ain't even trying to brag about it, but like, yes, I did hide. I was scared, goddamn.
Damn.
Yeah, man, that's all right, bro. That's all right.
Now, there's other details too, regarding the firearm, and I believe the controlled substance was weed, which, obviously isn't that big of a deal. But if you have felonies and you're not in a weed legal state, you're going to get in a fair bit of trouble for having weed and a firearm on you, especially considering that it was a domestic violence dispute, is why they got called. Now, Dumas has disputed this, saying there was no domestic dispute, there was no break-in, but the charges are the charges. So, I mean, innocent until proven guilty, but Sedriques Dumas has a long rap sheet. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with his rap sheet, he is the biggest criminal in UFC history, and this is including John Jones. Sedriques Dumas is a bigger criminal in the UFC than John Jones. Not as high profile because he's clearly a fucking bum when it comes to UFC talent, and he loses to bums, and he gets matched up with UFC debutants. But yeah, he's had like over 14 arrests, 15 arrests now in the last 10 years. Everything from domestic violence to drug charges to stalking, I believe, trespassing, having a firearm on a school campus. There was also the story that he punched a pregnant woman in a bar. And that was before he was even in the UFC. That was when he was signed to fight on Contender Series. And still, he's in the UFC for some reason. But Jeff Molina is not in the UFC. Really crazy. Things get a little sticky when you start looking into how hypocritical the UFC is when it comes to cutting, re-signing, all that stuff, because you'd think that this guy would be like first on the chopping block when it came to cutting guys on the roster. No, it's all good. Chris Matino's got to get his head knocked off 3 times to get on the UFC roster, but all Sedriques Dumas has to do is get arrested. Now, some of you may know Some of the OG fans of the channel may know, but we have been popping off recently. So there's a lot of new fans here. Now, some of you guys that are new, you might not know that I actually have a little bit of a personal connection here to Sedriques Dumas, because I did a video on him roughly a year ago right here, exposing the disturbing history of UFC fighter Sedriques Dumas. It's actually the 5th most viewed video on my channel. So it popped off for me, you know, at least for me, it popped off pretty crazy. He saw that video and he took massive issue with it. I feel like I revisit these messages with Sedriques Dumas like almost every 3 months, either on a stream or in a video when he gets arrested. But he said, "Hey, whore, I just seen your punk ass video on YouTube talking down on somebody. You fuck ass bitch. You look like you're scolding, like you fucked your ass, and then you go post on your page too. Thank you for always talking shit. You got 130 followers," which at the time I did. "You need to sit your ass down and get some followers. Bitch love talking on somebody's life. What the fuck you done? You look like you beat the shit out of your own mama." I mean, actually, he's the one that gets arrested for domestic violence. So takes one to know one, I guess. Have a good day talking about and stop trying to chase clout in my past. And also know I'm using autocorrect, so whatever the fuck it says to you. And I said, "Ah, damn, so you didn't like the video?" And by the way, just so you guys can see, this is him. Here's his check mark right here. This is him. And there's his username, SD the Reaper Dumas UFC. But I said, "Oh, damn, so you didn't like the video? Well, shit, I get it, man. It's a pretty embarrassing past to have. I wouldn't want someone exposing it on YouTube either. But the information is public, and you're a pro athlete in the biggest organization in your sport. So I don't know what you thought would happen. Tell you what, bro, you should come on my channel for an interview and we talk about it. Before you ask, no, I will not pay you $100 for the interview." Now, that is because he has been exposed for asking for $100 from media for interviews, which is not something that media does most of the time. He said, "You right, it is public, and please, I can't even ask you for a payout. You only got 138 people. Look, you went out your way to make a story about me. Don't even have any deals. It was funny seeing you talk about my life. Glad, I happy." Rough grammar. Rough grammar. Florida public schools, get it together, man. He also, after winning his fight at UFC Abu Dhabi last year, I think it was either the Saudi Arabia card or the Abu Dhabi card last summer. He also mentioned this on the UFC broadcast. He said, "And for everybody talking down online, talking about I beat women, that's in the past, bruh." And I'm like, what the fuck? I was sitting there, I was doing a live stream. I was like, what the fuck? He just admitted to beating women live on a UFC broadcast, and I'm going to take credit for it. So that's the deal, guys. The absolute strangest pullout we've ever seen in the UFC. God, such a crazy week. We got John Jones retiring, crashing his car or somebody's car and threatening police. Embarrassing retirement. We got the biggest fight of the year on Saturday in Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. And we got this news as well. We're popping, boys. We got stuff to talk about. So let me know your thoughts down below. More videos coming the rest of this week. I'm Wyatt. This is Fight Society. Did you like this video? Then like and subscribe down below. I also do multiple live streams per week, along with behind the scenes content and members only live streams for our channel members. So become a channel member for access to bonus content. It's only $5 per month and it greatly helps the channel's growth. I also do a podcast with my best friend Bo, and I have a non-MMA channel as well called Wyatt's World. You can check both of those out linked below.